All right, so good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our webinar sessions tonight. And while we're waiting for others people, we are going to start in 5 minutes. And if you guys have any questions, you can also feel free to tap in the chat box. I will also try my best to answer all of your questions while waiting for more people to join us. And for the webinar tonight, we are going to discuss some knowledge about the CFD industry as well as the financial markets. We hope that after the today's sessions, you guys can able to further understanding the CFD industry, how can you trade it, how can you calculate the profit and loss, and we will make also some of the comparison between the CFD industry compare with others traditional financial markets. So this is also something that you guys are going to learn. So most probably today's topic should be for the beginner, but of course, if you are also some of the experienced trader, we also hope that you can learn something in today's sessions. So we are going to wait for 3 minutes for more people to join, then we are going to start now. While we are waiting, if you want to understand some of the market movement, you can also type in the chat box. Let's see whether I can help you guys over some of the analysis. So for today's topic, you will be learning things regarding like the safety calculations. You can also learn something like we are going to give you one formula. So when you are going to trade with multiple different types of asset classes, you guys are able to calculate it, or you understand how much you are going to win, as well as you are going to understand how much are you going to lose. And then we are going to let you understand how much deposit that you should be considered in order for you to make sure your margin are safe, in order to prevent when you want to do the trade and then suddenly it experience some of the aggressive move, then you just stop out your positions like that. So we are going to bring out some of the things for you that we hope that it can help you to further understand. And then later, we're also going to go through some of the pure prime helps. When if you want to learn something from CFD industry or some of the financial knowledge, I will also show you some of the locations where you can go and search in our pure prime website. So the aim is after even we finish the webinar, right, you are still able to learn something from us. Okay, so now we are going to start our webinar right now, and here is a short risk disclaimer for you guys. This webinar is for informational and educational purpose only. Nothing discussed today should be considered financial advice, investment recommendations, or an offer to trade any financial instruments. Trading CFD and others leverage products carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Due to the nature of leverage, losses can exceed initial deposits, so it's important to fully understand the risk involved before engaging in trading. While we will discuss market analysis and trading strategies, these are purely for educational purpose and do not guarantee success. By participating in this webinar, you acknowledge that Pure Prime and I are not responsible for any trading decisions you make or any losses incurred as a result. All right, so now we are going to officially start our webinar right now, and today we are going to discuss about introduction to CFD and financial market. So for all of the new joiner, here, if you are just starting your trading journey in the CFD industry, and if you are come from a traditional banking industry background, or you come from a normal retail investor background, this is something that the first lesson that you should be learned on. Because in these sessions, we are going to teach you what is a CFD industry, and we will make a comparison between our CFD industry compared to others traditional investment. We will talk about the risk in this industry. We will also talk about some of the good things as well as in this industry also. We will also teach you how can you calculate your profits, how can you calculate your loss when you do some of the trading. So before you deposit, before you make any trades decisions, it can be have a better risk management. And in terms of trading, risk management is really something that we should be aware of and we should be careful on. So yeah, let's begin today. So what is CFD industry? I think some of you guys might be also quite confusing. So CFD industry, another name is contract for difference is a financial agreement between two parties, typically an investor and a broker, to exchange the difference in the price of an asset from when the contract is open to when it's closed. So people or trader will normally use the CFD industry in order to predict some of the price movement. So if they expect the price is actually going up, they might be buying in the CFD industry. And something that you need to bear in mind is in CFD industry, you are not really going to own the underlying asset. People are not going to holding the real asset on their hand. They are just betting against the price. If the price going up, then you might be gaining on it. If the price going down, you might be losing on it. Compared to traditional, maybe let's say equity market, if you are going to purchase the stock, you are going to holding the share. You are really going to own the company, own the shares. But the question is, when you want to sell it out, you need to find another buyer to buy from you. So you need to sell out the shares in the market, and then there is a buyer, and then they are going to purchase from you. So compared to CFD industry, you don't have to buy any seller. You just trade with the price movement. So this is a difference between traditional equity market and CFD. Okay, and as compared to others crypto market, let's say if you're going to buy Bitcoin, you are going to hold a Bitcoin on your hand, but when you want to sell it, you need to find seller who are willing to purchase from you. But in this industry, CFD industry, you don't need, you just go to the MT4, MT5 or PU Prime trading apps. You can just click buy or sell, and then you can just close your positions easily. So let's say if I'm going to buy Nasdaq, and this is a lot size positions, I just buy one lot. So once I buy the market, you can notice that our system is actually going to execute the order for you. You don't have to wait for any seller to sell you the Nasdaq as a product. So you will directly make the decisions to do the trades. But when you don't want it, let's say if you want to close the positions, in normal situation, you still need to find seller because you already own the products, own the shares. So you need to find the people who are willing to buy from you. So you need to sell it back in the market. But in CFD industry, you don't have to. You just click this button, close the positions, then your positions will be just close it. So it's a very, very simple tool for people to trade. They are just speculating the price difference. So it seems like a very, very good thing. I will talk some of the good things in the industry. Later, I will also warn some of the risks that all of new traders might not be aware of. So now you already understand the theory about it. You can trade with multiple different types of asset classes by just one click, either buy or sell. You don't need to wait for any seller to sell you the products. So this is in CFD industry. So in the history, now we are going to cover about the history of the CFD industry. Early development is actually in the 1970, and actually it started in Britain, and then initially people used the CFD to leveraging gold prices, because during that period, we might not have a lot of gold, there are not a lot of sellers who are willing to sell the gold in the market. So let's say if an investor think the gold price might be going up aggressively in the future, there is no supply in the gold market. So what are they going to do? So they need to find another substitutions, which is the CFD industry. So they are going to, some of the investor will go and agree with the broker. So investor and broker A make an agreement saying that if the gold price going up, the broker need to pay me. If the gold price going down, I need to pay the broker from an investor perspective. So it's just one contract, one agreement. Investors are not going to really buy the gold and find a seller to sell. It's just one contract which the investor agree with the broker. Why is that so? Because there is no much seller is actually going to sell the products in the market. So it's very, very difficult for people who want to do the trade. And then start from 1990, CFD industry have become very, very famous. And then USB Banker is actually creating CFD industry for equity swap. So same thing. There are more and more contracts that happening. Previously, we are just focused on one product, which is the gold. Then afterwards, more and more bankers using the CFD structure and creates multiple different asset classes. So gold is just one asset class. And then they are going to create another asset classes, including Forex movement, also maybe including some of the stock index movement. Then afterwards, in 2000, retail boom in the CFD industry. And then we do have the latest development of the MT4 and MT5. So you can see that this early boom is actually trigger a lot of financial movement. And then later, slowly and slowly, you will be understand more risks about the CFD industry after the retail boom. And then in CFD industry, there are a lot of countries actually trading on it. The most famous one is actually from UK. We have UK, Australia, Germany, Switzerland. This is the hottest country who trades the CFD products. And then now the questions lies on why CFD. Some of the people might be wondering, why should I trade with CFD? Why I can't just go find traditional banker? I don't go banks and say I want to trade some of the products. Why should I enter and do some trades in the CFD industry? The overall reason is because if, let's say, if you are a normal investor, you are not that rich. If you want to buy some asset classes, you want to have exposure in asset classes such as gold, such as crude oil. If you go through the traditional financial market, you are very difficult to find a very good trading decisions. You can't go out and just go to the bank and say, I want to buy crude oil. So the banker might be asking you, if you want me to draft a contract for you to buy crude oil, you need to minimum investment by how much? Maybe $1 million, $100,000. So it's quite difficult for people who might be thinking they want to have exposure in these commodity products. And another situation is like during COVID period, right? We all understand the crude oil price is actually dropping aggressively, and then the oil price is quite cheap for the global investor, correct? So if the people want to benefit from the lower oil price, what are they going to do? So a few ways, they can go to the bank, say, I want to buy oil, and then bank will write a contract, but minimum investment requirement is high. And then the second step is they go to the petrol station and pump the petrol and put in their house, which is very difficult to achieve, right, for normal people like us. So with the help of the CFD industry, we can have a multiple exposure to different types of different asset classes based on the latest market opportunity, based on the latest market volatilities. Investor can easily have exposure. So let's say during COVID periods, if we are thinking the oil price is quite cheap, we want to have some beneficial on it, we can just enter the CFD industry and just click buy or sell over the products. So it can actually help a lot of retail investor or the global investor to have a good exposure to a lot of different asset classes. For normal people, it's actually quite difficult for them to invest in gold. So let's say if they want to invest in gold, you go to the bank, say, I only have $100, I want to buy gold. Normally, the banks, it's very difficult for them to draft a contract for you to buy a gold. Or the second thing is you can go to the gold shop and buy the gold. You can say that gold price might be going up in the future basis because of the trade war, because of the current risk appetite in the market is very weak. So you can say like that. But as a normal investor, how can you have exposure in gold? It's very difficult. You just need to go to the gold shop and then you might pay thousands of dollars. But in the CFD industry, with just $50, you can able to trade on these products. So this is why more and more youngsters and more like youngsters who are not that rich, they are more willing to invest in the CFD industry because it's allowed a greater exposure for the global investor to invest in. Everyone can start to be trades and everyone can start their trading journey. But this sounds like a very dream jobs for everyone, right? No matter you are a youngster, because you can say, oh, I can trade with global asset classes. I can trade with multiple different asset classes, right? I can just simply buy gold. I can simply buy crude oil and etc. I'm a god of trader. People might be thinking like that. But unfortunately, this is why CFD industry is very risky, because if you are not going to go to the bank and then say you want to buy something, nobody is going to advise on you. Maybe if you assume bankers are very professional, those professional bankers might be giving you some of the risk disclaimer, risk advice, how much you should invest or how much you should not. But in the CFD industry, you need to remember it's all on your own. It's your decisions to make how much you want to deposit, how much you want to trade. So let's say if you are already too aggressive in your trading mode, there will be nobody is going to control your emotions. Nobody is going to give you the advice. So this is why when the barriers of entry in the CFD industry is very low, everyone can able to enter to do the trades. And this is the moment where the risk remains in the market. So let's say if you don't have any experience in this industry, you just go and do the trades, you might be very easy to get some emotional damage. So let's say you do the trades for gold, and then in short term, maybe you might be earning some of the money, and in future basis, nobody is going to warn you about the risk. You might be thinking trading in CFD industry is simple, right? So you might be deposit more, and you might be losing more of the money. So this is a risk. So we already give you a very good things about the CFD industry. Yes, you can have a different types of asset classes that you can be enter, and you can be do the trades, right? But the second thing is you are on your own. So always control your emotions every time you do the trades. Don't over risk yourself. This is something that you must be remember. And then in this CFD industry, right, we are calling it like a leverage gains. So let's say if you have a $50 in your hand, you can able to open some of the positions in gold, some of the position in crude oil. Why is that so? It's because of leverage. Later we'll deeply expand about what is leverage. And then the third thing is flexibility. So in every way, you can just trade with your phone, trade with your laptop in different types of asset classes. This is what you call flexibility. And then from CFD industry, you can actually learn a lot of things from there. So let's say if you are only a investor, the stock equity investor, you just buy stock, you just buy ETF, you just buy mutual fund. So the banker tell you what to buy, then you just follow, right? You might be thinking about that. But in the CFD industry, as I mentioned, when you are in your own way, you might be losing your money, but of course you will be learn a lot. As long as you don't over risk yourself, don't get through all the emotion in your brain and you just over trade. As long as you don't do that, it is a very, very good trading journey for you, because by trading CFD, you can have like exposure in the US market. You need to understand about what's happened in the US right now and how can it help you to trade with dollar and move towards the gold market, move towards the stock market. You also need to understand the relationship between Russia and Ukraine, the OPEC, oil productions decisions, in order for you to predict whether you want to buy the oil or you want to sell the oil. And then even the Bitcoins, even some of the others asset classes like GBP USD, USD. Like for example, right now, we understand there is some of the political crisis in France, and that's why Euro dropping. So you understand it, and then which means that you are going to learn with a lot in this industry compared to just one asset classes. So it's a very, very good thing for you to learn as long as you don't overtrade. As I mentioned, why I keep repeating this, because it's very important. Don't overtrade yourself in CFD industry, because nobody is going to control you. So CFD industry, the products offered is actually including Forex, commodities, index, ETF, and crypto. See which one is your strength, and then you can more focus on it. Later, I will show you in the system how can you find different asset classes, and then how can you open the trade. So this is a further classification about the CFD industry, and this is just small part of it. And we also do have products such as orange juice, coffee bean that the traders can be made on it. So you can see that in CFD industry, we can trade with a lot of major currency. We can also trade with commodities. Let's say if you are gold traders, you are crude oil trader, natural gas, silver, you can have a good exposure over it. So let's say if you don't want commodities, and let's say if you are a professional commodities trader, then you want to move on into other asset classes, then you can also talk about crypto, which is the famous one, right? So you can just trade with crypto, and then you can also trade with index and stock. So this is your opportunity for you to trade. So as I mentioned, if you don't have, because you are on your own, you might be thinking trading of these asset classes is easy, then you might be overtrade yourself. So make sure you learn it before you enter the trade. And how are you going to learn things on the financial market? Later, I will brief you about it, how normally Pure Prime can try our best to assist you over the whole trading journey. And step by step, this is our first lessons about CFD industry. And moving forward, every week, we will have another sessions to let you have a deeper understanding on it. Okay. And then the second thing is you must be understand is leverage. So how come you by using $50 you can able to trade maybe 5 trade gold or etc. because of leverage. So leverage means that you can use $1 and then you can trade up to $100 to $1,000, which means that like you want to buy a house, the house is around 500,000, right? Let's say you need to pay a down payment by 10%, so you need to pay around 50,000. Then the bank is going to borrow you 450,000. That's why you can purchase on your house. This is the logic of the leverage. So in the CFD industry, leverage is something why that you can be able to trade with different types of asset classes. Later, I will walk you through the importance of leverage. And then as we also mentioned, CFD industry offer the flexibility. You can trade everywhere. You don't have to wait for the certain seller for you to match your products. You don't have to wait for the buyer to match your trading decisions. And the decision that you need to invest is you only need a very low initial capital. Low initial capital doesn't mean that you must do it with a full margin to trade. You can open with a smaller size. Let's say you just deposit with $50, you can trade with 0.01 lot. Every day your movement should be around $10, $20. You can bear the risk. So $50, you can have the funds already in the CFD industry. And then as I mentioned, in CFD industry, it's a very good learning progress for you. First thing you need to learn of the financial theory, then you can directly applying it. Since some of you guys might be fresh graduates from the school and then you want to verify some of the financial story, right? And then let's say if you graduate from Econs University, you learn a lot of Econs degree, you want to verify whether your economic skill is strong or not, you can try and apply in the CFD industry, because in the CFD industry, touch a lot of things regarding of economics, such as Forex movement, central bank decisions, commodities movement, stock index, and etc. Because if you want to go through the bank, you go to the bank and then you want to do investment with the bank, or you want to become an investment banker, let's say, the benchmark is very, very high. And then let's say if you want to learn how to trade stock index, learn how to trade with different commodities, if you don't try with CFD industry, you want to try with traditional financial markets, it might be require you to deposit a lot. There is a minimum investment that you need to do in order for you to have exposure. So you can learn something from the CFD industry with a very, very small initial capital first. Then by learning and learning, once you learn everything, then you can try with bigger traditional banking style. Okay, so you can learn from mistake, and then in moving forward, you will be better. Okay, and then now is something that you guys should be also be understanding, especially for new trader. Normally, how can you trade with CFD products? So normally the famous one is the MT4 and MT5 tools. So let's say I show you the MT4 and MT5. After you register with the Pure account or all of the different protocol, you can just simply log in. You can try with demo account first, then you can just log in, key in your password, and then you can show you this thing. So once you have this, you can see that we only have limited products over here, right? And then you need to find more products. You can just click, you right click your mouse, you click symbol, and you can see, boom, we have a lot of different asset classes. So let's say you want to trade with US stock, you can see there are tons of the US stock inside. So you just right click here, click symbol, or you just click Control U. You can see that they have a different asset classes already. So let's say if you are interested in maybe XAUUSD, so we choose special one, Alibaba. Let's say you're interested in Alibaba. You just right click, and then Alibaba will be in the last one. Then you just right click it, chart window. Then you can see the chart will be shown. And then you can choose your favorite template. So when you choose it, you can see that we have the Alibaba here. Okay, so it's a simple. So normally investor will use MT4, MT5 to do the trades. Then you click LTT, and it will show you this one. Then you can make buy or sell decisions inside. So let's say you want to buy Alibaba, but sometimes market is closed, then you can't trade. So you can trade with some products like market is open, like BTC USD. You can click buy, and then you can see once you click it, it will show inside here. So this is how people will be trade with CFD industry, and you might be also using your phone. If you don't want to do the trade, just close it. So it's already show you, right, how easy that you can access to have a global asset classes. It's just simple. You just click, you just deposit, and then you just click. But as I mentioned, since you are all alone, when your emotion are difficult to control, you might just lose your money just like that. You might keep clicking buy. You don't want to aware that you are losing a lot of money, because it's simple too. We just click, and it's already purchased. It's a very, very simple one. If you can't control yourself, it's really difficult. So normally investor will use MT4 or MT5 to do the trade. And then in Pure Prime, we also do offer the Pure Prime trading apps for you to do all of the executions. And then in our trading apps, right, we also do have a copy trading tools. So copy trading tool is something like we will separate into two functions. The first one is a signal provider. The second one is a copy trading. So let's say if you already become a professional trader, you can do the trades already. And then you can just sign up for the signal provider, and then you can let people to copy your trade, and then you can earn some of the profit sharing. And then if you are a newbie, then you can try with the copy trading apps, and then you copy some of the signal provider who are very, very good result. But in my opinion, I still highly advisable for new trader to try on their own first with a very, very small amount of capital, or you should try with a demo account first. So once you familiarize with the market, and you slowly and slowly do it with a bigger positions which align with your risk appetite. So this is something super important because as I mentioned, right, CFD industry, especially when you trade products such as gold itself, right, they don't have intrinsic value. Intrinsic value means that when you want to do company valuations, you can just go through and you can understand, okay, so let's say you want to buy Coca-Cola, or let's say you want to buy McDonald's. McDonald's, there is a shop over there, McDonald's, right? And then every day you can pass by the shop and then you can see that whether McDonald's will have a lot of customer or not. If this McDonald's have a lot of customer, then you can just expecting McDonald's is actually earning a lot of money, then you can consider to buy the share. Okay, but let's say gold itself, there are a lot of people in these webinar sessions. If I ask everyone how much do you think about the gold, nobody is going to give the exact amount of the gold here. They don't know, because like if I ask anyone here, people might be saying that, oh, maybe I think gold should worth $500, gold should worth $10,000 or etc. No, it's very difficult for us because gold itself, they don't have the intrinsic value. That's why when the products don't have the intrinsic value, we are only trades on it purely based on the market expectations. So let's say if we are thinking that gold price right now is actually worth 3,650, how can you justify it? You can't justify it. It's just because majority of investors think gold is very, very good, and that's why gold price worth this kind of prices. But all you need to understand is these subjective expectations, these expectations can be changed easily. Just one statement, let's say one statement from Donald Trump, then people might be thinking another things already. So let's say if Donald Trump, after 5 minutes, after 10 minutes, they shake hands with China, they say we are agree with the trade war, we are not going to have trade war anymore, then the gold price is going to drop aggressively. So as I mentioned, so you can notice that this is a risk. And how can you predict when will Donald Trump give this kind of statement, and when will the especially political tension, geopolitical tensions, nobody is able to predict it. That's why this is why I say that the risk in the CFD industry is very high. Compared to you trade with the stock market, simple. You trade with McDonald's, even simpler. You just see, okay, so one day McDonald's don't have any customer already, then okay, you might be thinking, it's time for you to close the positions for McDonald's. Then you invest in others, maybe KFC. You can just observe it. But CFD industry, you can't. Gold is one example, and then let's say if you trade with asset classes such as Forex, dollar, GBP/USD, EUR/USD, how can you understand whether nobody is going to predict what happened to France? And then you can see that the political incident in France actually causing euro to drop recently. So nobody is going to predict it, because recently you can see all of the euro trend is actually quite optimistic, but just one news because of the France political tensions, euro began to be dropping back. So that's why you need to always go through the market news and don't overtrade yourself. You don't believe that your first two trade is great, then the third trade that you make, you should make a bigger positions. No, the probability is remain the same. It doesn't mean that you win more in first few trades, then the next trade you should be winning again. No, because this is different compared to McDonald's investment. As I said, McDonald's is over there, but Forex investment, commodity investment, you can't predict what's going to happen next. Okay, so beginner trader, if you want to just copy a signal provider, there will be also the risk where the signal provider suddenly lose because of some of the market movement. So why you want to, how to say, give your faith towards others people while you can learn slowly. Okay, so once you have the mindset where you just trade with CFD industry, you can get rich, you must stop it. It will be so wrong. Okay. I think some of the experienced traders who experience 5 years, 7 years, 5 to 6 years, 7 years in the market, they will be understanding what I'm trying to say. Okay, and then in CFD industry, you will be also learning some of the key knowledge. You need to understand the market. You need to understand the good risk management, because when you are on your own, the money is yourself. Don't overtrade yourself, and then you need to continuous learning. So when you do the trade, you lost, it's okay. Just move on, and let's say what can you do next. And if you lose again, don't trade. Rest for a few weeks, then you can try again. So don't try to bet against the market and bet against your emotion. This is my advice to you. And then some of the key knowledge that a lot of people need to learn is about fundamental analysis and technical analysis in the market. Fundamental is what we call like a storyline that's happening in the market. And technical analysis is some of the charting tools. We can use the charts to identify what is our good entry point, what is our good exit point. Because as I mentioned, let's say if you want to trade products like gold, right? Everyone have a different perspective over the gold price. How can you expect the gold price will reach until which price for you to TP? You don't know. So by that time, you might be required to use the technical analysis to try to predict it. And no worries, we already have a series of the educational series for you guys. So today is the first session, and moving forward, we'll discuss more things about the fundamental parts. We'll discuss more things about the technical parts that I will show in the website. And then if you are interested, every week we'll have these kind of sessions for you. So stay tuned on it. So now I'm going to show you the Pure Prime website. So let's say if you want to learn something in the CFD industry, and if you feel like if you Google it or you ChatGPT is a little bit difficult, then you can try with our Pure Academy. So you go through the pureprime.com, and then we have this one we call the Pure Trading Academy. Learn, and then you click here. And then we actually trying to separate out beginner article, intermediate article, and advanced article that you can slowly go through. And then we also do have the market analysis. So let's say just now I mentioned, right, in CFD industry, fundamental and technical analysis is important. If you want to learn what's happened in the market, and then you are quite lazy to go through Bloomberg every day, Reuters every day, because you don't know what is the main point. So you can just go through our report inside here. And then you can see we will update what happens in the market as a market summary. And then we'll give you the charts as well as technical analysis explanation. So we will provide every day with 4 different types of asset classes which experience the biggest movement. You can go through it if you're interested. So let's say if you don't trade Euro, but you want to understand it, you can just go through the analysis report over here. So you can save a lot of your time to go through all of the Bloomberg and read out all of the article. So every day we update different types of important asset classes, then you can learn from it. And then if you don't love the storyline, we do have the charts focused one. So you just go through the chart, and then you can see that we have purely focused on charting tools one. So we also do have things like that. So this is all the charting explanation. And even though you don't understand what are we writing about the technical analysis, also don't have to worry about, because you can also notice that we will have a lot of webinar sessions moving forward. We already tried to make a series lah. So now we are begin with a beginner session. So today is a chapter 1. Okay, so let's say if you are interested, then you can just register with chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. It's free, yeah. You don't have to sign up for any trading account. You don't have to deposit and etc. You can just go through and click the register. And then once you click the register, you can have the registrations over here. You just key in inside, and you can go through it already. Okay, so we have the beginner sessions, intermediate sessions, as well as the advanced sessions that you can slowly walk through. So let's say, as I mentioned, you don't understand what we write about the technical analysis inside. You can see we also do provide some of the lesson inside here. So feel free to go through it if you have time on it. And then we also do have engaging webinar, engaging tutorial every day, in our social media. So we will post some of the videos for you guys to learn something over there also. And then after you go through all of the understanding about the fundamental, the storyline that's happening in the market, and then now I'm going to teach you something interesting about the calculations part. So in the CFD industry, you need to learn 4 types of calculation. First one is margin requirement. The second one is profit and loss calculation. The third one is the trading cost, which is the spread and the swap. So we will go through one by one first. So the first thing is margin requirement. And what is margin requirement? So some of a new trader might not understand what is margin requirement, but explain in layman's terms, margin requirement is a minimum deposit you need to do the trade. So let's say you want to buy gold. This is a very important topic. So for all of the new trader, you need to understand. So let's say you want to buy gold. So currently the gold price is 3655. Margin requirement for me is like lot size times contract size times current price times 1 divided by leverage. So lot size, right? The first thing about the lot size, right, is the positions that you want to open here. So let's say here is one lot, like 2 lot, 3 lot, 4 lot, 5 lot. So what is the lot size? Lot size is like by using the lot size, you can determine how much you want to buy on the gold. So let's say you buy one lot, how much you need to deposit. So let's say you put one lot inside and then times the contract size. Contract size, you don't have to memorize. You can go through the MT4 system. You right click it, specification, and then you can see there's a contract size inside here. So you just key in 100. You see here is 100, just key in 100. And then you times the current price of the gold. And then times 1 divided by leverage. So for Pure Prime, the leverage is actually offering up to 1,000 for gold. So how much you need to deposit in order for you to open one lot positions for gold? Okay, so you just put everything inside. So you need to deposit at least $365. But this is just a minimum deposit. It doesn't mean that you must just deposit this one in order for you to do one lot. You can actually deposit more than that in order for you to tank the risk. Because sometimes you might be wondering, if you deposit less than $365.5, let's say if you only deposit $365.0, not $365.5, you're not able to open the positions one. You cannot, because the margin requirement, which means that the minimum deposit for you to open one lot, you need to deposit until this amount. Okay, so this is something that you need to bear in mind. So when you can't open the trade, don't have to worry about it. Maybe it's because you deposit lesser, or you can actually make a smaller trade. So let's say if you only trade with 0.01 lot, actually can one, you just click 0.01 lot. Then you just need maybe $3.655. So now you understand how much deposit you need to make in order for you to do the trade. And then the second step is you need to understand profit and loss. That's why this is the points where the loss size become important already. Because profit and loss calculation is like loss size times contract size times closing price minus opening prices. So let's say if I want to trade one lot of the gold, and then I expect gold price currently is 3650. I expect it might be going up until 3675. So I just minus look. How much I'm going to earn if the gold price really going to reach the prices here. So here is important. So just minus first. And times the loss size times the contract size. You are going to earn $2,500 if you are going to do one lot. So this is a point where the lot size is important, because your contract size is already constant, it's already fixed 100, and then closing price and opening price is also fixed. So what can you change is the positions you open. So this is the place where the lot size is important, which the adjustment around your MT4 and MT5. So you need to be careful on it. You think this is a good scenario because it's going out, you can earn a lot, right? But if you open the wrong positions, you will be losing that amount of money also. So if you are not willing to lose that much or win that much, open with a smaller position. Okay. And by using this formula, you need to remember, you can be able to trade with different asset classes. It's the same formula that you can be putting in. So after you understand the profit and loss formula, you also need to understand the trading cost. So normally in CFD industry, we have two trading costs. One is spread, the second one is swap. Spread is every moment that you open your positions, it will be a loss first because the broker is going to charge you. So you can see, you can monitor on this zone here, profit, place here. So if you do one lot, right, initially it will just deduct one. So you click one lot, buy, You can see it will deduct first. So this is what we call the spread. So normally you can see the broker will see the spread is high or low. This is the reason why people will seek for a lower spread broker, because this is a trading cost. So the spread one is the lot size times the pipette. Pipette means that, right, in this MT4 system, you can right click and then you can click the spread here. So once you click the spread, you can see there is a symbol here. So let's say gold is 27. So which means that your lot size times the amount around here, it will be your cost already, your spread cost already. So you monitor here, the spread cost should be around 26 to 27. You click buy. You monitor here, yeah, the profit place over here. So it's normally 26 or 20. You can see initially it's like that, but due to the market movement, it will be changing. So if you wonder how much you need to pay to the broker every moment you open the trade. So use your MT4, right click spread, and then use this amount around here, just times the lot size. It will automatically convert into the US dollar already. So this is a basic. And then next thing is regarding on the swap. Swap means that when you trade, right, when you hold your products overnight, the broker is going to charge you. So this is why sometimes people don't love to trade with CFD industry, especially they want to invest in the stock. When you want to invest in the stock, it's a very, very long term, right? You need to invest in a very, very long term journey, 1 to 2 years. But CFD industry, every night that you hold your products, the broker is actually going to charge you. Why? Because in CFD industry, they actually offer you a high leverage. So you can use $1 to trade up to 100. $1 can trade up to 1,000, for example. So the broker is going to charge you for the interest fee, something like that. So that's why when you hold your product overnight, it will be suffering from the swap fee. So this is why normally people trade CFD is purely only for the short term instead of the long term. So basically, you can see, seems like a super confusing around the CFD world. You don't know how to calculate everything. This is the final formula. So once you understand all of this formula, simple. No matter you trade gold, you trade crude oil, you trade Forex currency, you just need to make sure the lot size that you want to open, you understand it. You need to understand what is the contract size, which can be found in your MT4 system. Then everything will be super fine for you. You can trade with all of the different types of asset classes already. Okay, so this is a basic that you must be learned if you want to enter the CFD industry. Okay, so now let's make a summarize for you guys. So what is the pros for the CFD industry? The first thing is leverage. By using a small amount of capital, you can have a good exposure with a lot of different asset classes. And then in CFD industry, we have a diverse asset classes that you can be trying. You can be buy the products. You can be sell the products. You can do long or short positions. And then you will be also understand that your transaction fee is actually quite low compared to the bank goal. And then let's say you do every trade, the swap fee, the spread fee is actually quite low compared to others if you just do a very short-term trade. And then no expiry for position. You can just hold until you want to close it. But what is the cons for the CFD industry? The risk on leverage is very high. There's a swap fee. You are not going to own the underlying asset. And in my opinion, the biggest disadvantages of the CFD industry is because of low barriers of entry, everyone can trade easily, and you will be very easy to have good have a exposure, a huge exposure in your risk. So nobody is going to control you. You are all alone in this trading journey. When you do all of the trade, you need to bear responsibility for yourself. So please remember, always don't overtrade yourself. If you lose 1 to 2 times and then you feel you can't control already, please stop it. Go out and take a walk. Then after 1 week, you only re-enter back, because as I mentioned, this is a risk. You are all alone. You must be control yourself. Okay. So we hope that you have a great understanding in the CFD industry. And I think that's all for today's sessions. Now I'm going to open for Q&A sessions for you guys to see whether you guys want to ask me anything. You can type in the chat box. I will try my best to answer all of you. So we hope that you learned something today. And then moving forward, stay tuned to our webinar. You can just register it. It's free. And then you can also stay tuned to your email, your chat box. Some people, we might be promote these webinar sessions for you guys. So if you are interested in it, just go through it and join our sessions, our next sessions. All right, so that's all for today. If no questions, then we end now. We hope that you enjoyed the sessions today, and good luck for all of your trading journey. It's glad that we accompany you for your trading journey sessions. All right, thank you so much and have a nice day, everyone.